BR has 54 seconds left. Sullivan, set back to pass, looking downfield. That pass is going to be intercepted. And the clock will strike midnight. The Warriors, undefeated this season. King Philip are your Division 1A South champions.
We waited all year to get back to this point. We waited all year. Let's go!
Good evening and welcome to Wrentham as the BR Trojans and King Philip Warriors get set to renew their rivalry. One team will advance to Gillette Stadium for an opportunity at the Super Bowl. I'm John Luck with Brian Berard. This is a renewal. This is basically a start of a rivalry, Brian. We just saw it before we came on. Last year came down to the final minute. This is what this team has built this season around, getting back to this and taking it one step further.
Yeah, John, you heard in the open there after the win at Natick last week, you said we've been waiting all year for this, and it's their chance at redemption here for the Trojans is last year it was a close game, two very good teams, and King Philip ended up going on to win the Division 1A Super Bowl, and this year now that they got rid of the A's, it's now Division 2, but this is the game that you've been circling on your calendar. I know it's not quite exactly there, but it's in the South Sectional Final that you're most likely going to meet up with them, so it's a chance at redemption for for Bridgewater-Raynham.
And for the BR Trojans, this has almost been like a revenge tour just to get back to this point here in Division 2. The Trojans started off the postseason run with a first-round matchup against the Braintree Womps. BR took that game 41-7. Devontae Graves had 11 carries and 101 yards to see the two teams on the field right now getting set for the coin toss. And Brian, Devontae Graves, very important to this BR offense. It was very questionable as to whether or not he'd even see the field tonight, but we saw him in warm-ups. He was on the field. He was working out. The one thing maybe to watch out for is him cutting, because he is a cutter as a running back.
Yeah, we see that left ankle of Devontae Graves was taped up pretty good. He dinged it up in that game last week against Natick, and some people are questioning Dan Buren as to why he even put Devontae Graves back in there after he first injured the ankle, but you see that he was out there running, jumping around. It looks like the ankle's going to be good, but you're right, John. It's how long is that going to hold up, and if he can cut, because if they do win this game, the Super Bowl is either going to be December 1st or 2nd, depending on what the MIA decides what division's going to play Friday night. But that's one thing I'm definitely going to be curious about is how well he can cut, especially on that left ankle.
All right, King Philip has won the toss. They will defer to the second half, so we will see the BR offense coming out on the field first. And Brian, this is an offense that we talk about a lot this season. Well balanced. They can get points on the scoreboard. It's up to the King Philip defense to really step up to stop this BR offense.
Yeah, you've seen them become, over the past, I'd say 5 or 6 years, they're starting to throw a little bit more of that passing game in there more and more. And You know, we thought that the wind was going to really play a factor, but right now it's pretty calm. You know, there might be some gusts here because it is. I mean, I know it's fall, but it's winter-like up here because of the wind chill we have in the teens. So that's one thing I'm going to see if they're going to try and go a lot in the air.
Meanwhile, for the King Philip Warriors, the story's simple. Shane Fromer, he is the King Philip Warriors this season and last season as well.
Yeah, you're really going to, if you can get him going, you know, that's going to be the key for this defensive line, especially with Bridgewater-Raynham. If you can stop him and force King Philip to kind of play a little bit outside of their game, that's really what you're going to try and do for the Trojans. But if you get Fulmer going, you know, this might be a closer game with a kind of a shootout type feel between the Trojans and the Warriors.
The point total might be higher than the temperatures, you might say, as the cold is the other story in this game. Kickoff temperature right now in the upper 20s, 28 degrees here in Rentham. A wind chill of 22 that's expected to probably dip back into the teens before we're done here tonight.
Yeah, a little chilly,
Sure about hand warmers.
Yeah, I got long johns and pants and like 14 jackets on, so ready for battle.
These two teams started practicing back in August to get to this point. One team is 44 minutes away from advancing to the biggest game of their lives and an opportunity at the Super Bowl. End over end, Dan Taylor takes it from his own goal line.
Nice kick.
Taylor, the primary kick returner for the BR Trojans, pushes out to the 24-yard line. That's where the BR offense is going to start out.
You know, pretty much all season the Trojans have had a good kickoff return team. They've really done a great job of getting up to near the 35-yard line, but that was a nice high kick that went to the goal line, got up just past the 20-yard line, so that brings up a little bit of a longer field for the Trojans. Got up to the 24-yard line, but if you're the Trojans here, you want to put points on the board in this first drive here, really set the momentum.
You see Corey Sullivan, the BR starting quarterback. A lot of people wondering how the end of last season was going to affect Sullivan coming into this season, and might giving him a little bit more energy. As on first down, CCO comes out to the near side. Joey D'Amelio, the man in motion. Hand off to Bryce Shaw. Bryce Shaw lowers his shoulder up to the 28. And he may be the X factor for the BR Trojans tonight.
Yeah, it's convenient when you have your fullback that's committed to play at Navy next year, a darn good guy. And especially when Devontae Graves goes out, he's the one that's going to play that tailback position. So they might try to utilize Bryce Shaw a little bit more to give Devontae Graves' ankle a little bit more rest. But it's definitely key to have a player like that and Robert Jufrey to take some carries away too if that ankle really starts to bother Devontae Graves.
Bryce Shaw did have a touchdown last week against Natick. 2nd and 6. Split receiver set, handoff to Devontae Graves for the first time tonight, and Graves fighting to the 31. And they're going to call him with forward progress up to the 32. Should be gain of about 5 on the play.
You know, these third and short situations, really, you're going to look at Bryce Shaw here, you know, that big back that's going to get you a couple yards and get some yards after contact. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to call here.
Only a minute 15 into this game, and a big play coming up for the BR offense, trying to keep the King Philip offense off the field early on. A 3rd and 2.
As the wind's starting to pick up a little bit here now.
Shaw and Graves in the backfield. Handoff to Bryce Shaw, and Bryce Shaw ran into one of his own offensive linemen.
Going to be just short. Yeah, it looks like for right now they're going to keep the offense on the field.
So it's going to be a 4th and maybe a yard or so, and you would think this is Bryce Shaw territory unless Dan Bion's trying to draw the KP defense off.
You know, last week when they went on 4th down against Natick, they didn't get it, and that gave Natick a little bit of momentum there. Natick got a couple of points, but yeah, this is really a gutsy call, because if you don't get it, you know, one of the best teams in the state has an extremely short field.
Robert Jufrey comes in to the backfield.
Yeah, John, as you said, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a kind of a quick count, see if they draw him offside and call a timeout.
4th and short for the BR Trojans here in the first. Handoff to Devontae Graves up to the first down marker, and they're going to give him the forward progress for the first down.
Yeah, he did reach the 35-yard line. Quick set right there. Great job from the right side of the offensive line to open up just enough of a hole for Devontae Graves to get through. As we take a look on the replay here, great job on the right side of the offensive line.
Devontae Graves has averaged well over 100 yards rushing this season. Did miss 3 games in the beginning of the season. Had 300 yards rushing against the Barnstable Red Raiders last month. And Dan Buron's going to take a timeout with 8:12 remaining in the first quarter.
Didn't really like what he saw there on the defensive line, I think, of King Philip. Going to try and go with that running game, ground and pound, because that wind is a variable. We really don't know when it's going to gust at at any moment. It's not like it's a steady breeze and you can kind of try and play with it. It's just going to gust at any moment. And looks like he was going to go with a running play there. Didn't really like what he saw on King Philip's defensive line and decided to call a timeout, get a new play in there.
If you were at the Natick game last week, this is nothing like that wind. That was some strong gusts coming through the area. Some steady breezes, but nevertheless, first down. 8:12 left to go. Split receiver set. Corey Sullivan throwing for the first time tonight, and he's going to get taken down fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Looks like they're going to give him that 35-yard line. Looks like he was looking for something really quick, kind of a comeback route or an out route, but the middle of that defensive line there for the Warriors is kind of busted through. Just take a look in the replay. Play never really got a chance to develop.
Sullivan typically takes a deep drop back when he throws the ball, about 4 or 5 steps. And the offensive line has really helped out the quarterback this season. Gotten some long touchdown passes.
Yeah, that was really the question coming into this year, is who you're going to put on what spots in the offensive and defensive lines, and all year it's been a darn good job.
2 receivers to the far side. Sullivan going to throw. That pass is going to be complete to Dan Taylor at the 43.
Yeah, King Philip went with a zone defense right there, and Dan Taylor was wide open. He found that weak zone, but he also, that was a good play. You have everyone going to the left, and then you have Dan Taylor coming out a little bit to the right. We'll take a look on the replay. He's coming out to the right there, and in the weak spot of the zone, big chunk of yards there, and brings up about a 3rd and 2.
Dan Taylor, one of Corey Sullivan's favorite targets, along with Jeff Ciccio, the tight end for the BR Trojans. 3rd and about 2 after the 8-yard pickup. Hand off to Bryce Shaw, and he should get the first down by about half yard or so.
And they are going to give him the first down. Yeah, in those short yardage situations, I think it's really going to be no surprise who's going to get the ball. And that's really just going to be more of a grit and determination on the front lines of both teams, and if they're going to be able to stop Bryce Shaw.
Going back to last year's game, BR held on to the ball for only 18 minutes. King Philip held on to it for close to 30 minutes.
Right here, already taken about 5 minutes off the clock here in the first quarter.
Offense coming closer together now. Pitch to Graves on first down. Devontae Graves breaks away, tripped up and taken down in King Philip territory up to the 39-yard line, 38-yard line rather.
I was wondering when they're going to call that play. They've been so successful doing those pitches to the outside with Devontae Graves. You notice that pitch was to the right so that he could cut with his right ankle, which is, the better ankle that he has. And a good play call right there, and he was able to get to the middle of the field. You can still use that option to go to the right side of the field if you want him to cut again.
Bryce Shaw a little gimpy here as he's going to limp off, and that's certainly something you don't want to see if you're a fan of the BR Trojans.
Looks like he's favoring that left foot. Might have got cleated. I think he's able to put pressure on it, so sometimes you just get a metal spike, and they are not pleasant, John. Not
Especially
pleasant
on a night like tonight.
Oh, no.
Trojans offense going along pretty well here. Up to the 38 of King Philip. Handoff to Graves, and Devontae Graves is going to be stopped right around the line of scrimmage, and that's where the loss of Bryce Shaw right now is going to hurt you, because he helps Devontae Graves maybe clear out a hole or 2.
That's about a loss of 1 on the play there. It's about 2nd and 11. Looks like it's the left heel of Bryce Shaw that's been giving him some problems right now.
This game will take on either Lincoln Sudbury or North Andover in the Division II Super Bowl coming up on December 1st or 2nd. 2nd down and 11 after that 1-yard loss. Jufre and Graves in the backfield. Sullivan throwing for Dan Taylor. That is complete past the 15 up to the 11.
That was some soft coverage right there. It was man coverage, and he was about 3 or 4 yards off from him. We'll take a look at the replay here if you can see it. He's just 4 or 5 yards away from the guy, and he's kind of one of those, oh, thank you very much. You're not going to really defend the ball. It's an easy catch for me. And Trojans now in the red zone.
Up to the 11, so BR can still pick up the first down. Obviously looking for 6 to open things up. Once again, split receiver formation. Sullivan gonna throw this one. That is going to be caught for the touchdown for the BR Trojans.
Yeah, it looks like he had a couple receivers in the front of the end zone there, right by the goal line, and had his receiver just kind of slip behind. Take a look at the replay.
Jeff Cicio on the 11-yard touchdown reception. Jeff Cicio was a guy who Corey Sullivan pointed out in an interview with the Spark last week, acting almost as the Trojans' Rob Gronkowski, the tight end that acts as a receiver. And the Trojans are going to take a 7-0 lead, and that is the start BR needed.
Like I said, you know, if you're the Trojans, you wanted to score points on that first drive, and they got 7 there on a nice 11-yard pass from Sullivan to Cicio.
Jeff Cicio, Corey Sullivan's favorite target. He's had a touchdown just about in every game this season that he has played in. Keeping that streak alive. And we take a look at Corey Sullivan right now. Sullivan, we mentioned, Brian, is probably one of the first passing quarterbacks BR's had in a long time. And when he has the time, he has the protection, he can get the job done in the air.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can attribute that to the strong running game that the Trojans have with Devontae Graves and Bryce Shaw. You really got to respect it. And, that play action that the Trojans use really has a lot of people confused. And, Sullivan really has found quite the target in Jeff Cicio throughout the entire season. And it's something to be reckoned with here, especially on a night like tonight where the weather really isn't going to affect it that much.
Thomas Fay on, and a squib kick here to open things up. And King Phillip looking for some good field position, and they will get it. As Andrew Dietrich takes it up to the 45-yard line.
Short field here for the Warriors. That squib kick and a good return. See what this Trojans front four can do.
And you take a look at Bryce Shaw. Looks like he's starting to run a little bit easier. He'll get taken out for the second half of that offensive drive.
Yeah, like I said, it's like left ankle, left heel.
Here's a handoff on first down. That's going to be a very familiar name tonight, and a very familiar name going back to last year, Shane Fromer. Fromer in last season matchup, 30 carries, 184 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Motion coming up here on second down. That pass is going to be complete. And then some here. King Phillip looking to get back on the scoreboard to tie things up with the BR Trojans.
That was a weak zone right there from Bridgewater-Raynham. Found his way past the linebackers just in front of the safeties there. Huge gain gets King Phillip into the red zone.
Jeffrey Yatsuhashi.
I'm going to say that one 5 times fast.
That's why you just kind of sound it out, and if you mess it up, you blame it on the cold.
I like it.
King Phillip now inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. Hand off to Shane Fromer. Straight through the middle for about a 1 yard gain or so. King Philip squeaked out a victory last week. Pretty surprising to some people. A 2-point win over Mansfield. Fromer, a couple touchdowns, 113 yards and 25 carries.
In that game against Mansfield, really neither team could move the ball effectively. That's why you saw such a low-scoring game between the two.
Brendan Lyden, the King Philip quarterback under center, pitches off to Fromer. On second down, Shane Fromer tripped up at the 5-yard line by the returning Bryce Shaw.
You know, that's key for him to return defensively because he's one of the defensive captains here of the Trojans that really kind of sets the defense in place when a play is called.
Third and goal from the 4-yard line.
Big play right here for both teams.
Fromer dotting the I. Hand off to Shane Fromer, and Fromer is going to get stopped just shy of the goal line, right around the 2. Brings up a very big call here for Brian Lee and the King Philip Warriors.
Well, on this 4th down, if you do go for it and you don't get it, Bridgewater-Raynham has a 98, 97-yard field here. But I'm not going to be surprised if they try to go for it and try to tie the game up here because you know Bridgewater-Raynham can score points and they can score a lot. I mean, 41 against Braintree, 42 against Natick, so you know you're playing a darn good offense, so you're really going to have to try and keep the pace. And you know, on both sides, too, because you know King Philip, even though they only scored 13 points last week, they're a team that can definitely put up points on the board.
As the BR faithful gets loud, a handoff, and King Philip, did they get past the goal line?
No signal yet.
No, I don't think so. They did. That was a long wait for a touchdown call, a meeting of the minds. And you can tell which sideline we're on.
Take a look at the replay here. You're going to determine, you know, when was the momentum stopped and who got pushed in and what. And, you know, it was a long conversation, and you're talking like, was the momentum stopped or not?
Jack Webster on the 2-yard run, and King Philip has tied this one. I understand you want to get the call right, but that was a long way to try and figure out a big play like that already this early in the game. So now we are back to square one with 1:19 to go in the first quarter.
John, I'm going to give you an update here. It's still cold.
Thank you.
Yep. Didn't know if you knew or not.
I can't even keep stats.
No.
My pen is frozen. Temperatures in the mid to upper 20s right now. That's going to dip down.
Another strong kick.
Taylor takes it from his own 3. Dan Taylor up to the 25, and he'll get stopped at the 32.
Brings up a decent field for the Trojans here. You know, this kind of in the early going feels like one of those teams, one of those games of who's going to make the first mistake, who's going to make the first big stop here. Two high-powered offenses.
As you see, a very focused BR Trojans football team playing with a chip on their shoulder ever since last November. On first down, Joey DeBillion in motion. Handoff to Devontae Graves, and Graves gets up to the 35.
And offensively, we're going to see number 47 come back onto the field for the Trojans, Bryce Shaw. Got that left ankle taped up. Seems to be a common injury now. Left ankle injuries here for the Trojans.
Last week it was Devontae Graves who got taken out of the game in the fourth quarter, and some wondered if he was going to play tonight. But he is giving it a go.
It looks like he's really unfazed by it in the early going here with 30 seconds left in the first quarter.
The final half minute of the first quarter. We are all tied up at 7. Sullivan, play action, looking downfield. CCO underneath, out of the outstretched hands of the Trojans tight end.
CCO had his man beat too. If he let him even nicely, he could have been ripped. He could have ripped that one off for a touchdown.
Right now, not a lot of one to talk about, but if there is any, it's going from left to right across the screen, so it is helping Corey Sullivan a little bit, or maybe hurting him on that play. "19 seconds to go in the opening quarter. 3 receiver set. Sullivan out of the shotgun. Complete to D'Amelia for the first down.
Nice play, had him in the slot there, and you had your 2 outside receivers in Taylor and CCO kind of drawing the attention away from those guys, and D'Amelia was in single coverage in the slot there. Good play call, nice little comeback, just past the first down marker.
Clock will wind down, and I think Dan Buren's more than happy to start the second quarter with a first down. A Jeff CCO 11-yard touchdown reception to give the Trojans the early lead, followed by a quick response by King Phillip. This was, I think, what a lot of people expected here. Between these two teams, some good offenses, really not a defensive struggle back and forth, but both quarterbacks and running backs able to operate pretty freely.
Yeah, exactly. You probably two of the best teams in the state that you're seeing here right now. 2 of the top offenses that you're seeing right now. You know, it's the offenses being able to move the ball, and as I said, it kind of has that feeling of that game where it's the first team to make a mistake or the first team to make that big defensive stop to force, you know, a fourth and probably longer than 4, because I think if it's under that, you're really going to try and go for it. So it's really going to come down to that. I mean, what team really makes the first mistake?
So far, neither team really made a big mistake, maybe except for that reception by Dan Taylor on the far sideline in the first quarter. But opening things up here in the second quarter, Sullivan throwing against the wind. That one is going to be caught by Joey D'Amelia.
Sullivan took a pretty good shot right there, right as he released the ball, but was able to pop back up as if nothing happened there.
Brian Lee, the King Phillip head coach, said this about the BR Trojans and their quarterback, Corey Sullivan, and I am quoting here. Their quarterback is a dude. They have good receivers, and they've been able to put up a bunch of points against everybody that they play.
Well, you know where you got that phrase from?
I don't know. Where would he have gotten that phrase from, BC season ticket holder?
Yeah, that's right. Steve Adazzer, the Boston College head coach. Be a dude.
D'Amelia in motion on first down. Fake. Downfield. Caught by Joey D'Amelia. Escapes the tackle. D'Amelia down the sideline, inside the 15, down to the 12.
Looks like the linebacker there was going to swat the ball away and missed, and D'Amelia saw some wide open field, got some extra yards after the catch, and gets the Trojans inside the red zone. We'll take a look here on the replay. You're going to see that the linebacker who's covering him is just going to try and swat the ball away, and he misses, and it cost him dearly.
Joey D'Amelia, the popular target for Corey Sullivan tonight. As the King Phillip crowd makes some noise on the far side. Pitch to Devontae Graves, and Graves will get stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And that was a question coming into the game, Brian. We talked about this earlier. How good can Graves cut given his ankle injury?
Yeah, I was just about to say, you know, that's the first time we've seen him run to the left, and he made a pretty good cut. We'll take a look at the replay right there. He makes a pretty good cut on that left ankle. Looks like it's holding up so far.
Ball spotted at the 12-yard line. BR can still pick up a first down as we had 9:40 to go in the first half. Sullivan for Dan Taylor over the head of the Trojans receiver.
Nice little play call right there that kind of extends the defense, keeps them a little bit honest. And that was good coverage there on Dan Taylor towards the corner of the end zone. Brings up another 3rd and long for the Trojans.
This is right about the same field position that Jeff Ciccio caught the touchdown reception to give BR the early 7-0 lead. Ciccio lined up to the near side. Significant height advantage. Sullivan downfield for Bryce Shaw, and Bryce Shaw got the Trojans another first down.
And you get 4 opportunities pretty much from the 2-yard line. Don't really expect to see the fullback coming out of the backfield catching passes, but really when you have a good defensive secondary, as we've seen in KP here tonight, no one's really going to account for that fullback.
So with the ball on the 2, one would have to imagine give Bryce Shaw a couple of shots, maybe give Jufre an opportunity.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get it in on the first try with Shaw. They're going to try to go something wide with Devontae Graves.
Hand off to Graves. Devontae Graves almost untouched to the house.
Like I said, Devontae Graves right up the middle. But like I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried up the middle with either Graves or Shaw, and if that didn't work, try to extend the defense out and do a pitch to the outside. But you don't really have to worry about that problem as they put up 6 more points on the board so far. Gives them a 13-7 lead.
A lot of people didn't know if Devontae Graves would play tonight. He gets the Trojans the lead. Thomas Fay comes on for the PAT, a perfect 6 for 6 in PAT tries last week. And we had a couple of tough weeks as far as the kicking game goes.
Yeah, that was a pretty good week last week in terms of fantasy football.
And the Trojans are still up by 6.
Yeah, looks like he pulled that one off to the right a little bit. Still, nonetheless, Bridgewater-Raynham has a 6-point lead, but that might come back to haunt them later on if KP is able to get down the field, put their extra point through the board, and all of a sudden KP has a 1-point lead. Might be something to watch out for going later down the road, especially in a game like this where it might be a high-scoring shootout type of game.
King Philip actually had a pretty good field return on their first offensive drive. Got the ball up to right around the 45-yard line. Shane Fromer was the featured back.
Wonder if Thomas Fay will try and send this one down the field instead of trying to the squib kick.
Jack Webster with the 2-yard run to tie things up for the Warriors at the time. 3 total possessions in this game thus far and 3 touchdowns on the scoreboard. And it is worth mentioning that King Philip will open up the second half on offense. Thomas Fay, another squib kick here. That's going to be taken from the 22. And King Philip will start this drive from their own 34-yard line.
And that brings up another manageable field here for KP. Brings about a 65-yard field.
Mentioned King Philip won by 2 last week against Mansfield. Open up the postseason with a 15-point win against the Barnstable Red Raiders. Brendan Lydon, 7 of 8 passing, 77 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Last year, Lydon was very quiet in the game, 4 of 4 for 29 yards. As we were introduced to the Shane Fromer show. And the aforementioned Shane Fromer past midfield. And Shane Fromer is a beast for King Philip. And just like that, we are all tied up.
All right there, just a run up the middle, opened up a huge hole, and even the line was able to get to the secondary and block the linebackers for the Trojans there. And once he saw that open green field, just kind of see you later.
A 65-yard run for the senior running back that has given defensive coordinators nightmares this season.
And that's been the strength of this BR defense, is up the middle. And you saw right there on that play, that offensive line was able to kind of split them.
And here's what you were talking about, is this kick, I think, is about to go on to Route 1.
That gives King Philip the first lead of the game. And I'll see if that missed extra point's going to cost the Trojans.
This is starting to look like a battle between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State as far as the school board goes. This BR crowd, which was once very vocal, now maybe a little shocked after what we just saw. The first play on offense, a 65-yard run. And now BR is up on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things, you know, they've done a good job defensively all year, and I don't think Bridgewater-Raynham's really seen a team like King Philip all year. I mean, Natick's not quite like them, not as good. Braintree's not quite as good. I mean, Barnstable, New Bedford, they're not quite up to par with King Philip, so really haven't seen much of this offense all year.
You could almost say the same thing for King Philip. Maybe they haven't seen an offense like the BR Trojans, as King Philip currently riding a 22-game winning streak dating back to 2015. The last time they lost at home was October 16th of 2015 against Alborough.
I think really the only team you can say that Bridgewater-Raynham has faced that's like King Philip would be Zavarian. Obviously, every year Zavarian is high-flying offense, but a down year for the Hawks this year.
This year's been a down year for all Division I for the most part.
Division I only had 2 teams above 500.
A strong kick to D'Amelia, rather this one's rolling back past the 5. And Dan Taylor up to the 10. Or maybe the 12-yard line, given the friendly spot.
That's something that we've seen the Trojans struggle with all year. Special teams is, the way he tried to catch that ball was off to the side. He really wasn't trying to use his body there. And then went right through the fingertips of D'Amelia. And luckily, Dan Taylor was right there to recover it, bring it up to about the 12-yard line.
Last offensive drive sparked by Joey D'Amelia. A couple of big receptions on 3rd down. That was capped off by Devontae Graves' 2-yard touchdown carry.
Well, if you're the Trojans here, you want to take off pretty much 8 minutes and 34 seconds, which is left in the second quarter here, and because King Philip does receive the second half kickoff. For Bridgewater-Raynham, you want to put 6 or 7 points up on the board right here, taking off as much time as you possibly can.
D'Amelia in motion. Sullivan, play action, looking downfield. That pass is going to be dropped by Bryce Shaw.
Yeah, a little bit behind Shaw. You're supposed to throw it really towards the sideline. Goes up to 2nd and 10.
We did see Shaw get 1 reception on that offensive drive a few moments ago. Now the Trojans face a 2nd and 10. As the temperatures continue to drop. Out here on the nice metal bleachers here in Rentham.
And the wind's starting to pick up.
CCO lined up on the near side. 3 receiver set. Sullivan going deep. CCO almost had that one right over the fingers of the Trojans tight end, and a little light tap there by King Philip.
The last couple passes here from Sullivan have been a little bit off the mark. He had CCO. Take a look at the replay right here. He had him. That's twice now that he's missed CCO. What could have been huge gains.
This is a 3 and out that the Trojans can ill afford here. If King Philip stuffs the Trojans, and you're thinking Tom Faye's kicking from right around his own goal line.
And kicking into the wind.
The BR Trojans have averaged about 40 points a game over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Right now stuck at 13 and facing a 3rd and 10. Timeout, King Philip.
Yeah, he had D'Amelia wide open in the slot right there. I like what he saw, so good call. Good timeout call right there from King Philip.
The BR Trojans riding a 7-game winning streak as you look at everybody bundled up in their hats, scarves, and blankets, and Anything that can kind of keep you bundled up.
Yeah, Red Nation traveling very well, of course. Just a short little trip up 495.
I think this might be one of the closest road games this season.
Yeah, you're probably right, John. I mean, I know you had to deal with Dartmouth, you had to deal with Duxbury. You know, this is
Chelmsford.
Yeah. Chelmsford. I mean, I'm trying to talk about the close ones. If you want to go really far, you can go to Danvers and St. John's Prep, but one of the shorter trips for Bridgewater-Raynham. Quick ride up 495.
Regardless, this is the final true road game for the BR Trojans this season. Sullivan, 3rd and 10, pass, almost intercepted, almost caught. And that was a big stop there for King Philip as Sullivan took a pretty good hit.
Like I said, this is one of those games. It's what team's going to make the first stop or the first mistake, and King Philip's made the first big stop, and Bridgewater-Raynham's going to have to punt this one.
Farmer hanging around his own 45-yard line. Also, Aiden Bender. And Faye with a pretty strong kick. That's going to take a BR bounce and roll to the 45-yard line, but given the circumstances there, not a bad kick by Tom Faye.
Yeah, that was a big kick right there from Tommy Faye. And if you got it past 50-yard line, that was going to be one heck of a kick, and he certainly did the job there. Low line drive through the wind, and luckily King Philip didn't catch the ball, just let it roll.
BR gave up a 65-yard dash by Shane Fromer just a few moments ago to give the Warriors the 1-point lead.
It's going to be a huge defensive series here for the Trojans. See if they can stop Fulmer.
BR 4 on the defensive line. Hand off to Fromer. Off tackle, ripped down. First real stop on Shane Fromer here tonight.
Yeah, so right up the middle was blocked. He tried to cut it to the outside. A great job from the ends there to not break contain and bring him down.
Actually, a little bit of a loss, so it's going to be a second and just about 11 or so.
I've now lost feeling in my toes.
Brendan Lyon playing out of the shotgun. Fromer, play action for Lydon. Easy toss, and that one was knocked away at the last moment.
Well, that was a dangerous pass. He had 3 Trojans right around him, even though he could have had a good opportunity to catch. We'll take a look at the replay here. He had the opportunity to make the grab, but there was 3 guys swarming, almost ready to destroy him, essentially. I think this is the first 3rd and long that the Warriors have faced. Bridgewater-Raynham can force them into a 3-and-out. It kind of can take a little bit of a sigh of relief. Of course, you're in an obvious passing situation here, but of course, in high school football, you can see anything. But I would imagine they're going to try and pass this.
And a timeout taken by the Warriors. As we mentioned, the Warriors, the hottest team in high school football here in the Bay State, gathering quite the following.
Looking for yet another trip back to Gillette Stadium. Bridgewater-Raynham looking for their first trip since 2010, I believe. They lost to Gloucester back-to-back years. Bridgewater-Raynham looking for their first state championship since 2000. The old Mark Colombo and Doug Bissett days.
BR typically a favorite when it comes to Super Bowl discussion, which team's going to win it, which team's going to contend for it, but still a long way to go. Biden on 3rd down. That pass is going to be knocked away.
Yeah, I thought I was going to hit that off the ground first, and it was, so it was an incomplete pass. Brings up a 4th and 11.
Dan Taylor on the secondary assist.
There you go for the Trojans. Kind of a little bit of a sigh of relief. There you go. Okay, they stopped us. Now we stop them. For both teams, now you can say to yourself when you get in the huddle, okay, no, we know we can stop them now. We know that they're not this invincible team. We know how to do it. So now you kind of, both teams have that, both defenses now have that confidence that they say, look, it can be done.
Taylor and Amelia hanging around their own 15. A strong kick. And BR will start from their own 24.
And the thing about that King Philip drive there, it only took about a minute and a half off the clock.
And we were talking about the BR Trojans. They're led by Dan Bjorn in his 25th season as Trojans head coach. Has to be up there as the longest tenured coach here in Massachusetts. We're getting up there as on first down, Devontae Graves gets up to about the 29-yard line.
And both Jufrey and Shaw in the back are there for Devontae Graves. Get some blocks downfield and a good chunk of yards. Brings about a 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6 here for the Trojans.
BR Trojans on offense, they're a team that likes to run the ball. They're a team that likes to control the clock.
They're very slow and methodical, this offense.
3 in the backfield now.
Fumble.
That one is stripped away. King Philip thinks they have it.
I believe they do.
And they do. That was a big turnover there in the first half with 6:16 left.
Like I said, it's the first team that makes the mistake there. And Bridgewater-Raynham 3 and out. Now a fumble here. And King Philip has a really short field. I believe that was Jufrey's first carry of the night.
So just like that, King Philip back out on offense after a 3 and out. Fromer in the backfield gets a handoff on first down and will fight his way to the 24.
A 5-yard gain right there for King Philip, first down.
Second 5, just under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Another running play, and the BR defense standing strong that time.
Brings up about a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 here for King Philip. I think you're in 4-down territory, so if you're the Warriors, you don't have to get all 5 yards here on this play.
Charge there led by Bailey Leach. And Matt Foley. Had to imagine also King Philip trying to wind this clock down a little bit, give BR as little time as possible. As it will open up the second half on offense. We hit the 5-minute mark in the first half. Fromer on 3rd down, stopped right around the line of scrimmage. He'll bring up 4th down for the #1 team here in Division II.
The offense going to stay on the field here. Of course, going to take as much time as you possibly can off the clock.
At this point, King Philip basically playing with house money at this position as they got that fumble recovery at the 24-yard line. If you don't get it on 4th down, worst case, BR starts from inside their own 25, nevertheless 4:20 to go. Leiden played with a empty backfield and 4 receivers to the near side. And Leiden is going to fight for the first down. Does he have enough?
That was a good play call right there. You had 4 wide receivers to the right. You had 1 wide receiver to the left, and that's not going to be enough. But you spread out that defense and you run right up the middle. You just got tripped up and wasn't enough for the first down. So a huge stop for the Trojans defensively, now stopping King Philip on 2 consecutive drives. And of course, John, you said they're playing with house money on that drive. You said, look, if you don't get it, Bridgewater-Raynham is a long field with 4:08 left. But Bridgewater-Raynham, we know, is a team that can move the ball and move it quick in big chunks of yards.
So now Corey Sullivan, the BR offense coming out. After the defense gets the job done. .408 left to go in the first half. A 3-receiver set. Sullivan playing out of the shotgun. On first down, Cicio is the target. Cicio gets the reception.
Goodbye.
Jeff Cicio breaks away for the BR Trojans, and Cicio tripped up at the 4.
I thought he was gone, and he got caught from behind. He's a little slow to get up. But once again, we'll see it on the replay soon. It goes for the interception, and that's twice now that King Philip has tried to go for it. Take a look here on the replay. They're going for the interception, going for the swat. When you do that, and if you miss, that's going to leave wide open field for you. Now Bridgewater-Raynham has an extremely short field now. 1st and goal from the 4. Big mistake right there in the defensive back for the Warriors, trying to go for the interception and got burned.
The shoe-lace tackle there by Aiden Bender to trip Cicio up at the 4.
Of course, Cicio was a little slow to get up, but then again, this field has got to be frozen at this point.
Well, if the field isn't frozen, then everybody on the field and stands is. On first down, Devontae Graves is going to get stuffed shy of the goal line, and they're going to give him the forward progress up to the 1 or 2 yard line.
Be at the 2.
But getting back to that big reception by Jeff Cicio, we saw the same thing against Natick last week. They had their secondary help basically going for the ball and not the stop. I mean, at some point, if you're taking on somebody the size and the height of Jeff Cicio, why wouldn't you just try and knock the hand away or try and take another attempt at it? Why do you go for the interception right away? Because this is at least the 2nd consecutive week we've seen an opponent get burned. Split receiver set. Sullivan on the keep, and Corey Sullivan looking to get the job done. He's going to be a few blades of grass shy of the goal line, or I should say a few turf blades shy.
It's actually not bad for the Trojans because that just keeps that clock moving. Brings up a 3rd and about 2 blades of grass here, but that clock just keeps tick, tick,
Turf.
tick, tick, tick.
Turf.
And we don't know. It could be a few blades, a few rubber pellets. We'll go with that. We'll go with the middle there. But, that clock keeps ticking, and by the time King Philip gets the ball, it's probably going to be, around that 140 marker if they get it in on this play. And the question is really, if Bridgewater-Raynham does get the ball in here, do they go for 2, or do they try to go for 1 again, make it a 6-point lead?
Dan
I know you're really supposed to be asking me, but I'm asking you.
I'm not used to answering your question, Brian. But Dan Buren does call a timeout, so we can talk about this scenario here. Obviously, a big play call. You do have the weapons to get something like that done. It's obviously going to be predicated on your offensive line help. How does Bryce Shaw handle it inside the 2?
For me, personally, if you get it, I would still go for the 1. It's early in the game. If it was later in the game, obviously that's a little bit different. But I think for now, you go for 1 point. Even though Tom Fay did miss that extra point, I still have enough faith in the kid to make an extra point.
And the outside thinking as well is, as you go down the stretch, you are going to get stuffed inside of the 5. So at some point, you can maybe bring Thomas Fay out for a field goal inside the 5-yard line, or even the 10-yard line if the wind is right. And that is a lot of forward thinking, and we still have a while to go.
Just over 2 minutes left here in the 2nd quarter. Red Nation getting a little loud. Maybe trying to get the blood flowing a little bit. Maybe they're like me, can't feel their toes. Luckily, I have hand warmers so I can feel my palms.
There you go, that's all that counts.
Got to think positive.
On 3rd and short, Shaw, Graves in the backfield. D'Amelia in motion. Sullivan on the keep, gets the push, gets the 6. Corey Sullivan on the keeper, and BR is back on top.
Ran off tackle there to the A-gap to the left. Take a look at the replay here. He gets a nice little push from Bryce Shaw at the right end. Right there, just push you in the end zone. Nice 6 points. Bridgewater-Raynham takes another lead.
So now we get to figure out this question we were asking earlier. Is it going to be a PAT? Is it going to be a 2-point conversion? Corey Sullivan heading back to the offense, so a big moment here. So now you start talking about if you don't get the points, then King Philip can answer back with a touchdown and not have to worry about anything after that. Split receiver set, 2 in the backfield, Shaw and Graves. Play action, Sullivan throws it, incomplete, and that's going to be no good. And BR hangs on to a 5-point lead, 19-14, a minute 56 left.
If that was me, I would have gone for the 1 point. I would have got that extra point. I understand the play calling there, but there's plenty of time left in this game that you really should have gone for that 1 point.
Do you think about maybe running the ball in at that point? You're going from the 2, and we talked about it at length. When you have 2 yards to go to a first down or the goal line, that's typically Bryce Shaw territory.
Well, the way that they lined up, and you know you're going to go to Bryce Shaw in that short, the short yardage situation, and they're trying to see in the defense. And I think that's one of those situations where you go up there with 2 play calls there, and one play calls that pass play that they tried to CC, and the other one's maybe a handoff to Graves or Shaw. And the way that what Sullivan saw was they were lining up over the middle. I'm not going to really try and force this one. That's why I try to go for the pass. But like I said, if it was me, I would have went with the 1 point there.
And it should be worth noting, Bryce Shaw was just over here against the fence talking to, I don't know, friends or family, but nevertheless, really favoring that left ankle, almost hobbling. So maybe that was the reason he didn't hand it off to Bryce Shaw as much on that last offensive drive. Another bouncing kick. King Philip picks it up to the 40 and down at the 46, and the Warriors another good field position to open up on offense.
Well, these squib kicks, they're catching them at the 30 and the 25-yard line, and by the time that anyone from Bridgewater-Raynham even gets a body on them, they're up to the 40-yard line. I don't know if they struggling with the kickoffs that they had here, or they're really afraid of the wind, but you might have to change your thinking a little bit on these kickoffs, because you don't want to give King Philip an easy field. I mean, there's a minute 48 left. They have a short field, and we've seen that they can score on one play. Might be something to look out for in the second half.
Stacked receivers on the near side. Hand out to Shane Froma on first down inside of BR territory up to the 46-yard line. And we are just down the road from one Patriot place, and this is a classic Bill Belichick move here. You close out the first half on offense. You open up the second half on offense as we have a minute and a half left to go. Same formation. Fromer dotting the I.
He's got a wide open.
Gets the handoff. And Shane Fromer still on his feet, and wrong way or not, gets the first down.
They got away with one. There was a wide open receiver on the bottom of the screen. You had D'Amelia covering 2 people essentially on the bottom of your screen, but luckily it was a running play to Fromer.
Clock will stop on a first down. And now it ticks. This time 3 receivers lined up on the near side. Kingville trying to pick up some yards here. That pass is going to be dropped by number 81 for the Warriors, Thomas Madden. Very un-Madden-like move.
Wow.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I did. Wasn't a fan. Unless that stops the clock, though, for the Warriors. Just over a minute left here in the second quarter.
Second straight year these two teams have faced off. A shot at Gillette Stadium on the line, and another close contest. 1:01 left to go on second down here in the first half. Biden going deep, and that is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, he overshot his receiver by a solid 10 yards there.
David Morganelli, the intended receiver.
Nice little go route there on the sideline, and you'll take a look at the replay. Just way too far.
Maybe Leiden was hoping for a pass interference or something there, maybe trying to get something.
Even at that point, that's a little bit uncatchable if that's 10 yards in front of you. I know you can say that he slowed me down, which is the reason why I was uncatchable, but that would have been close. And there's, of course, in those plays, there's going to be a lot of hand fighting, as you saw.
Third and 10, 56 seconds left. So if the BR defense steps up, offense might have another crack before the end of the first half. Leiden throws this one. That one is going to be caught. Wow. Some trickery. Shane Fromer inside the 20 up to the 14.
I don't know if that was deflected into his arms or if
think
that
that
was
was
a trick play. Let's take a look at the replay here. No, that was intentional. How about that?
Now that is something you don't see every day.
That's fancy. King Philip will take a timeout here. But, ooh. At first, when your snap reaction there is you go, oh, that was a nice job. You knocked the ball out, and you say, oh, geez, someone caught it. And you thought it was just kind of deflecting into his arm. You see it on slow down on replay, and that was done on purpose. And nice little trickery right there from the Warriors. Taking a look at another angle. Whew.
That was a backward pass there, so it is legal.
Now that could have been dangerous too, isn't it? Bring it in with one hand. But the question would have been is, let's say if he does, lateral that one backwards and it's dropped, was the initial one going to be ruled a catch, or was that going to be ruled a drop, or would have been ruled a fumble? That would have been interesting to see, but luckily the refs had fortune on their side, and Roman caught it. Didn't have to worry about that.
48 seconds to go. 1st and 10. Still can pick up the first down. King Philip here. Leiden looking for a receiver. That one is going to be not caught.
So he was batted away there from the defender.
The Trojans did do pretty well on a red zone stop on the last drive, but did give up the touchdown to 2 yards on 3rd down. Intended for Aiden Bender on that last passing play.
Looks like that was Dan Taylor in on the deflection.
2 receivers on the near side on 2nd down. Leiden, handoff Fromer. Fromer inside the 10, up to about the 6-yard line. And another timeout taken by the Warriors.
Just over 30 seconds here, 33.8 seconds left in the 2nd quarter here. King Philip can put this one in the end zone. That'd be huge for them. Get you a lead, and you get to start with the ball in the 2nd half. So if King Philip is to put this one in the end zone, they get their extra point. They take a 2-point lead. John, we were discussing it a little bit on the Bridgewater-Raynham's last touchdown. If you went for it or didn't get it or whatever, that still keeps Bridgewater-Raynham, as you mentioned, it's within 3 points. It's within a field goal. So I can see where Dan Bjorn was going with that one, but you don't know if you really want to bring it down to a field goal.
From the 6, Leiden, easy toss. That one is going to be picked up. Actually, it's going to be incomplete.
No, he's going to be caught, but he took a knee, and when you take a knee in high school, you are down right there and then. And because of the low throw, that clock's going to keep running. Now it's ticking down to about 20 seconds here. King Philip's going to rush the field goal unit onto the field, it looks like. Clock just keeps ticking. They're going to have to set this up quick.
Or do you spike it with about 8 seconds to go?
I think they have enough time. Even though they're rushing, they have enough time to get this off. And Coach Bjorn's going to take a timeout here. Ice the kicker, quite literally, as it's freezing.
See what you did there. I see what you did there.
If you can make puns, I can make puns.
It's a punderful night.
I wouldn't go that far. As the wind has picked up a little bit, it's kind of going to go from left to right from the kicker here. And now it's in my face, and this is typical weather in winter here in New England, where just the wind is, no matter what way you're facing, it's in your face.
So let's think about the numbers game here. If King Philip does hold on here to the idea of a field goal, it's 19-17 going into the halftime break, then they get the ball on offense. BR, regardless, if they do kick the field goal here and make it, it's still a one-possession ball game the next time BR goes on offense.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is if they, no matter what happens here, unless if there's a fake, Bridgewater-Raynham's going to have a lead going into the locker room, and that's obviously that bodes well for you when you're facing a team like King Philip. But let's not forget here, King Philip is going to be receiving the 2nd half kick on. If King Philip goes down the field, puts up some more points, I mean, that's gonna really completely change this game.
The Trojan faithful getting loud here, and King Philip will.
He pushed it. No, pushed it to the right.
Missed the field goal. A huge miss. And a huge stand.
And the clock is still running, even though it should be stopped, but, oh, there it goes. It looks like he pushed that one off to the right, but you'll take a look and just, oh, boy.
Wow. That might hit the flag and gone with the wind.
Ooh. But, you had some rushing off the edge there, and you wonder if the kicker was trying to, go away because he had someone on the right side of that defensive line of the Trojans just coming after him, and you wonder if they were going to try to avoid that rush, and that's why he wanted to go to the right. Well, I guess it's halftime. And then let's run off the clock. It's cold. We don't want to take a knee either.
All right, so quick takeaway from the first half before we go in and warm up. If you're the BR Trojans here, a very positive first half. Your defense has stood tall on a couple of occasions. You gave up that 65-yard run by Shane Fromer. Nevertheless, though, this BR Trojans team still has some hope here.
I think for Bridgewater-Raynham, you're going in there thinking you're lucky stars because I think that first half could have been worse. That the fumble by Drew Frey, with pretty good field position for King Phillip. And almost a couple of interceptions thrown from Sullivan. Well, really just one, but a couple of bad passes thrown by Sullivan. But Bridgewater-Raynham still with a 5-point lead going into halftime here. So it's better than what it really should be. But sometimes football gods look after you and you get the right bounce.
So it's a 5-point lead at the half. When we come back, we will have second half action. One team advances to the Super Bowl. Who will it be? We'll find out in just a minute. Back here in Wrentham, or as we might call it tonight, the Winter Wonderland with all the Christmas carols being played and the fact it feels like Jack Frost Playground.
Your favorite time of year, Christmas.
John Locke, Brian Berard back here with you as these two teams fighting for a trophy here. The winner moves on to Gillette Stadium and the Super Bowl. 19-14, Trojans on top. Fromer on the reverse. Shane Fromer gets stopped at the 31-yard line.
It's a nice kickoff right there from Tom Fay to about the 10 or 5-yard line. A little reverse right there, and Fromer gets it up, and you had about 6 Trojans thinking that he didn't have the ball.
Shane Fromer, a 65-yard touchdown run in the first half to give King Phillip the lead early on. If you're just joining us, the BR defense standing tall, winding down the final couple minutes, holding King Phillip to what we thought was going to be a field goal, but ended up just going a few inches to the right. On first down, Fromer straight through the middle, parting the Red Sea up to the 36.
Yeah, King Phillip's first 2 drives, they were able to score touchdowns, but their last 3, they were held to 0 points, so the Trojans defense was starting to warm up towards the end of the first half there. Fromer there with about a 5-yard gain, brings up 2nd and 5.
Trojan defense bringing 4 on the line. Fromer leaping over everybody before finally landing at the 39. Should be a pickup of about 3 or 4 on the play.
Should bring up about a 3rd and 2 here. So a 3rd and manageable for the Warriors. They had about a 3rd and 10 for the last few drives.
The Warriors offense trying to give the Warriors their 23rd consecutive win this season. Timeout. King Philip. And if BR's defense stands tall here, you would have to imagine that this is a major turning point, given the fact that we thought King Philip was going to double dip, get a touchdown or a field goal to end the first half, and maybe get a score to start the second half. But thus far, have come up broke. Third and 2. Line under center. Hard count, early jump.
No flag.
Fromer is going to get stuffed right around the line of scrimmage, and that was a big no call, at least from where we're sitting.
Looks like he was in the neutral zone as the snap happened. Well, they got away with that. That's why I just kind of did a quick draw right there. You figure you're going to get the free 5 yards, brings up about a 4th and 1, and King Philip looks like they're going to be going for it here. Gutsy call. If you don't get it, Bridgewater-Raynham is a short field. I mean, the whole reason why you try and start the ball off the second half is to start off with points, and if you can't get it here, that'd be huge. But of course, you have one of the best running backs in the state.
The aforementioned Shane Fromer, who's in the backfield here. 4th and short, QB keep, and the Warriors will pick up the first down, I do believe.
Yeah, the far lineman's going to give it to him. Got a nice little shove from the fullback there. But the near side lineman looks like he was going to rock him just a bit short, and that far lineman there gave him the first down. Gutsy call, but nevertheless paid off. 1st and 10 here for the Warriors.
And you see, sorry, Brian, to the right of your screen now, number 47, Bryce Shaw. Kind of surprising to see him out here right now, given the fact he was having a difficult time putting any weight on that left ankle. He was injured in the first quarter. First down, play action. Leiden going deep. That one is going to be caught at the 20.
Nice throw right there. Threw it up. The wide receiver got it at the high point there. Nice pitch and catch and a huge gain for the Warriors.
Thomas Madden, a 38-yard reception, and then some.
Had his defender beat, too, by a couple steps.
That comes off of the QB sneak by Brendan Lyon on 4th and inches just a couple minutes ago.
That's the thing that we've seen with this Trojans defense. We saw it against Natick, these big plays down the field here where your secondary really struggles on these deep balls.
Max Ferrucci was carving a hole in the BR secondary last week as the Trojans got a win against the Redhawks. On first down, Shane Fromer gets some blocking and eventually trying to give himself an extra test going into his own defender.
That's a nice job from D'Amelia there to get the first contact to slow him down. Take another look at the replay here. You had 2 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Here you see D'Amelia coming, just able to slow him down and runs into his own wide receiver there.
Should be a pickup of about 8 yards or so, or actually 7, so it brings up a 2nd and 3. Handoff Fromer, and he'll get right around the first down, or actually he'll be just shy of the goal line.
Looks like they are going to give enough for the first down, so it brings up the 1st and goal from the 3 or so yard line here. So 4 opportunities for King Philip coming up. Short yardage.
This was right around the area of the field where the BR defense stepped up. Forced King Philip to try and kick a field goal that will close out the first half. Fromer on first down, and he gets the touchdown. Shane Fromer, a 2-yard carry. King Philip back on top.
Yeah, nothing special about that play right there. Run left, huge hole, open up for their offensive line. Take another look right here. Virtually goes untouched into the end zone. Whereas really the drive was set up a huge pass a few plays ago. King Philip takes another lead.
So I'm looking at the far sideline right now. Brendan Lyon's on the field. I mean, we were talking about it earlier with BR. Do you go for 2 here, try and make it a field goal lead?
Well, Looks like that's what King Philip might be doing, because that'll get you 22. Just had a 3-point lead, but and again, if you don't get it, now it's just a 1-point lead.
This for 2. And does the defense stand tall? No, it is a 2 for the Warriors. Guess who? Number 25 gets 2 for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's huge. Now that brings up to a field goal lead. There's still a lot of football left to be played here at the Warrior Field.
And, you know, if you were to say that the Warriors would have a 3-point lead with 7:07 left to go, given how BR was going right around the halfway point of the second quarter, you would say that's a good thing, because we thought that the Warriors, the way their offense was going, they could easily double dip, get 14 points without the Trojans ever seeing the ball.
Yeah, like I said, prior to that drive, their last 3 to end out the first half, Bridgewater-Raynham held them to 0 points. And John, we always say in every broadcast, Bridgewater-Raynham is a third quarter team. So see if they can come back here and continue that tradition of really, and you see it all the time, they have that long sustaining drive. It usually ends in 7 points.
BR needs the drive and the game here tonight. An opportunity to try and leave Rentham with a big trophy. Dan Taylor from his own 7. Taylor trying to get some blocks, and maybe his best run of the night gets up to around the 31.
Said here for Bridgewater-Raynham, usually you see their first drive coming out of the locker room is a long drive, a lot of runs, move that ball, kind of control the line, and put 7 up on the board. Bridgewater-Raynham needs that again, take another lead.
Couple of touchdown receptions for, or I should say a couple big catches for Jeff CCO. A 2-yard carry for Devontae Graves for a touchdown here tonight. Robert Jufre serving as the fullback for the BR Trojans. Bryce Shaw was injured in the first quarter, as we mentioned. Hand off to Graves. Goes to the near side, and Graves maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a little bit.
That was a good job from the right side of the King Philip linebacking core, making sure that Graves really couldn't get to open field. And they've, for the most part all night, have done a good job of preventing Graves from really getting big chunks of yards in the open field, and using that versatility that we've seen all season from Devontae Graves.
There's number 47. You see that left ankle wrapped up. He was in on defense, so Bryce Shaw defensively just as good as Bryce Shaw offensively. Sullivan playing out of the shotgun. A 3-receiver set. Sullivan going deep, tipped, and that one was almost picked off and almost caught, however, by Joey D'Amelia.
Yeah, dangerous throw over the middle of the field there from Sullivan. Take another look here. Just off the fingertips. Brings up a huge third down here for the Trojans.
Warriors up by 3, 6:11 left to go in this third quarter.
It's an obvious passing situation here for the Trojans.
We have seen BR use the 4-receiver set in the past. I like to go with 3 this time. Same formation. Jeff CCO lined up on the near side. Taylor, D'Amelia on the far side. Sullivan getting rushed. Throws this one. That is going to be caught. But does he have enough for the first down? Depends on the spot. Up to the 38.
Going to be a few yards shy of the first down. And they're saying the clock's going to keep going, so we didn't quite get enough for the first down. Going to be about a 4th and 3 here.
At this point, Dan Bjorn electing to go for the field position game.
Yeah, I think that's too far. It's about 4th and 3, 4th and 4 here. If you don't get it, King Philip already has the lead. They're going to give him a short field, so your defense can stop him. You're going to need another stop right here. But it feels like this is the first time in a long time that Bridgewater-Raynham hasn't been able to score off their first possession in the second half.
Thomas Fay kicking against any wind. Just a really cold night, not a lot of wind to speak of. Bryce Shaw on the fake. Bryce Shaw past the 40. Does he have enough is the question.
Looks like he does. He does.
That was gut check time for the BR Trojans right there, and that was a dicey call. Maybe one of those plays that you use only once.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's special teams. You have everyone, their first mentality is your first thing you're thinking is get back in coverage, and when everyone's getting back, you're really only relying on that defensive line and the good job from that Trojans offensive line to create the holes. You'll see another look in the replay here, goes to the outside, gets tripped up, but it was still enough to get the first down. A very gutsy call as we have a beautiful flyover of geese here.
Good thing the Trojans have white uniforms here. From the King Philip 43. Sullivan, he's going to throw on this first down. And that one is going to be incomplete, looking for Dan Taylor on the near side.
So we have a couple of refs in front of us that disagree.
We were talking earlier, it's kind of the ambiance.
Yes.
It's something that you don't get to hear on like a Fox or a CBS.
Yeah, right. That's
the real fans.
That's what we do. That's what we bring to the people.
So now on second down, do you keep going with the passing game, or do you try and get Devontae Graves involved in this game a little more?
I would try and get Devontae Graves involved a little bit more, because if you try and go for a pass and you get another incompletion, it brings up another third and long. And in a game like this, if you're going to have third down, you want to bring up third and manageable. You want that 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 here. So, Devontae Graves has shown time and time again that he can get those big chunks of yards, especially after contact.
Sullivan on second down. He's forced to run this time. Throwing for his life. Was that caught? It was.
Whoa.
A huge grab there.
That was one of those balls that had to be thrown absolutely perfectly. We're going to take a look here as the offense really just kind of let the defensive line get in the way or get in the backfield, I should say, and that was just a perfectly thrown ball there. A little bit of luck involved, but brings up a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 1 here, short yardage situation.
Dan Taylor with a huge grab brings up a 3rd and short. Now you can start going with that running game. Obviously here you have Jufre, who has fumbled, but we also did see Bryce Shaw come out for a very short to go, or actually for a fake punt situation. As we take a look at this great grab by Dan Taylor.
Perfectly thrown ball.
Sullivan back under center. Hand off to Graves. Looking for the first down, and he might have been stuffed right behind the line of scrimmage.
I think he's got enough. Yeah, he has enough. That's a first down.
This serves two purposes. Obviously, BR continues to wind the clock down. We talked about that drive, but it also keeps the King Philip offense off the field, and you're keeping Shane Fromer at bay right now.
Exactly, and then, like I said, this is one of those games. It's kind of you have to match everything that the other team does. You really do. I mean, two high-powered offenses. You have to do that. And Bridgewater-Raynham with that 4th and 4 on the punt, the fake punt, going to Bryce Shaw. That was a gutsy play in Bridgewater-Raynham. You need to match what King Philip just did and get another lead.
Corey Sullivan a little bit gimpy. Might have gotten hit on that catch by Dan Taylor, tipped and almost caught. But going back to that last catch there by Dan Taylor to get really close to that first down mark, he was getting chased by 2 or 3 defenders, and did he maybe get clipped is the question, because he is a little bit gimpy. He typically will run to the sideline, get the play, run back. Didn't exactly see a deep drop back for Corey Sullivan.
Yeah, this front seven here of King Philip has been really ferocious. They've been getting in the backfield, and you see Corey Sullivan limping over to the huddle. But this King Philip front seven has been able to get in the backfield pretty much all night, and Corey Sullivan taking some hits.
Second down, Sullivan out of the shotgun. Maybe the best position for him if he's hobbled a little bit. Gonna throw this one over the head of Dan Taylor.
Way high.
Almost looked like Taylor was expecting the hit more than the catch.
It brings up another 3rd and long. Take another look in the replay here. Just then one got away from him. Yeah, this is not what you want from the Trojans, though. You don't want these 3rd and long situations here. You want to, have a 3rd and manageable.
3:03 remaining here in the third. In a 3-point game. Winner moves on to take on either North Andover or Lincoln Sudbury in the D2 Super Bowl coming up in a couple weeks. Sullivan out of the shotgun. A 3-receiver set. Sullivan looking deep. That one is going to be bobbled by D'Amelia. Brings up 4th down, and looking at this glass half full, obviously you are forced to punt, but now you're looking at maybe some favorable field position.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity here for Fay. You really kind of send this one up in the air, end over end, and try and pin Ken Phillip as far back as you possibly can, because it's only a 3-point game here for the Trojans, and now we're starting to see that both defenses starting to step up a little bit more as we get going into this game in the later half.
Aiden Bender and Shane Fromer awaiting the kick from Fay. A high snap for Thomas Fay. And a strong kick. Fromer on the run. Fromer gets stuck behind the 25. Up to the 24, and that may be King Phillip's worst field position, I think, tonight.
Yeah, usually they start around the 35 or so yard line, so starting it around the 23-yard line here. Got a couple of extracurriculars after the play, but no flags thrown. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's been one flag in this entire game.
Corey Sullivan getting looked at on the sideline. His left ankle, it looks like, getting looked at by Pete Smith.
Yeah, what's with the left ankles?
Or excuse me, right ankle.
Right ankle. Oh, yeah, I got to switch.
We're mixing up a little bit here.
Yeah. Ace is going to get that taped up.
As this offense, led by Brendan Lyon, comes back out. Receiver sent out to the far side. And a handoff straight through the middle, switching it up. Instead of Shane Fromer, it's going to be number 28, Nick Kerr.
Yeah, quick hitter to the fullback there. We've seen Bridgewater-Raynham do that many times this season.
Matt Foley in on the stop, brings up a 2nd and about 6. Two receivers on the far side. Hand off to Fromer. Goes off tackle. Shane Fromer should get the first down depending on the spot.
I think he's going to have just enough. Looks like he's going to be just about a yard shy.
Kyle Duggan on the stop. It was on an inches to go situation where we saw Leiden take the QB keeper and extend that drive. Got into the BR red zone.
Looks like the official's going to take time to get an official measurement. Looks like he's just going to try and eyeball this from about 20 yards away.
Well, it's kind of like when you install a door. You want to eyeball. Is it level or not?
I mean, we'll just bring the chains out at this point. I mean, you're not going to try and eyeball this thing from 35 yards out.
It's not exactly a rocket science move. You take the
there
sticks,
we
you
go.
go
There's
out
the
there.
chains.
There you go. Maybe we're just a little bitter because we're in the bitter cold.
Yeah, probably.
After all that,
It's going to be... Ooh.
barely.
I still don't know what they're discussing here.
Well, they want to show the. I don't exactly think that's a situation where you bring a player into, but I mean.
It feels like he's asking, like, do you want us to give it to you? Or
These are the nights you miss Skip Crossman.
The third and about one rubber pellet. Watch for the QB sneak.
I was starting to sense the defense coming in. And there's the first down.
A nice little push there from the fullback. Got about a yard or two for the first down.
This will send us under a minute and a half to go in the third. They are looking for their first Super Bowl appearance in 7 years. King Phillip looking to return for a back-to-back appearance and extend the streak to 23. On first down, handoff to Fromer, and Fromer will get stopped at the 41.
He's doing a good job of, when they run up the middle and you got some big chunks off the middle and, everyone's trying to converge on the middle and he cuts it to the outside. That's where he's getting those extra yards. You think you're going to be stopped for, maybe 1 or 2 yards or maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And that's where he cuts it to the outside. He's getting these, 5-6 yard gain, 5 or 6 yards of, going forward here. And that's really been huge here all night for the Warriors, and you haven't seen it on the other side for the Trojans.
2nd and 5. A handoff, and the Trojans will
Here he goes again,
number
trying
24.
to cut it back to the outside, but Bridgewater-Raynham was ready for it this time. Brings up about a 3rd and 4. This is now 20 seconds left in the third, which may be the final play of the third quarter. It looks like it is going to be.
Well, not exactly a shocker. A one-possession game going into the fourth quarter. A shot at the Super Bowl on the line. King Philip driving. They're up by 3, 22-19. As this defense has withstood some of the offensive fury by the Warriors here tonight.
Yeah, we thought early on it was just kind of touchdown after touchdown. We thought that it was really just going to be an offensive game, but the defenses have really started to step it up, especially towards the end of that first half. And they say defense wins championships, and right now it's going to be one of those games. It's what defense steps up first, or steps up the most. I mean, they both stepped up, so now it's got to fix it. Which one steps up the most here? Which one? Essentially, it's going to come down. Who's going to make the big play?
There you go. So it's just a battle between number 1 King Philip and number 3 seed in the BR Trojans. Going back to the second round, there were 14 upsets altogether, the North, South, Central, and West. 7 of those upsets took place in the South bracket among all the divisions 1 through 8, including the BR Trojans upsetting the 2 seed Natick Redhawks.
So brings up a 3rd and 4 here to start up the fourth quarter.
Trojan defense needs to stand tall here on this drive. Leiden is going to throw it. That one tipped. That one is caught at midfield, extending the Warriors' drive.
That was a nicely thrown ball, just lifted right over the linebacker's fingertips there. So take a look on the screen. Just a perfectly placed ball. Went up for it and brought it down past the first down marker. Just a great throw right there.
The clock right now is starting to become an ally of King Philip. Winding down the final 10:40 in this final. Split receiver set. Handoff Fromer. And Fromer will get stopped for the first time tonight, really, with a small gain.
Man, he really didn't get an opportunity to cut that to the outside. Brings up a 2nd and 9 for the Warriors. Of course, the scoreboard still says it's 4th and 4.
Takes a while.
Well, we'll get there. It's a cold night for the scoreboard, too.
Might be on 3G. Nevertheless, Warriors continuing the ground and pound attack with Shane Fromer at the helm.
Now, if you're the Trojans here, you have to limit them to 3 here. You can't really let them get in the end zone because you're going to ask a lot of that Trojans offense.
Handoff Fromer again, and Fromer will bolt his way to the 42-yard line.
Bring up about a 3rd and 2 here.
At this point, if you're Brian Lee, do you just keep handing off to Fromer? I mean, he's been your offense all night for the most part.
Why not? If they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's been working for you all night. And, they've been mixing a couple passes here and there to kind of keep the defense on. Some nice touch passes from the quarterback. Might as well keep going back to Fromer.
Red Nation and this crowd getting behind their team. On 3rd and 3. Leiden playing out of the gun. Brendan Leiden going deep. That one is out of the hands of his intended receiver, number 81, Thomas Madden. And some good defense there for Kyle Duggan as well.
Threw that one a little bit behind Madden there, but that was still going to be a tough one because that was still a low throw. It's going to bring in the punt unit. This was huge for the Trojans because if you're BR here, You can take easily 8 minutes off this. Well, I mean, maybe not 8 minutes, but you can take a good chunk of change off this clock here and drive it down and maybe get a game-tying field goal or a go-ahead touchdown. Rugby-style kick.
And this is Dan Taylor. Looked like he was trying to hope it was going to roll into the goal line.
I was just about to say that, John. I mean, he was hoping that was going to go in the end zone. You really don't want to take that chance. You know, pick it up. You do the sure thing, pick it up and bring it out. That way you have some breathing room, so you're not really on your own goal line here. But you have 8:46 here. You have a 95, a 94-yard field to go here. Excuse me. Oh, I thought they were way back towards their own goal line. It's at the 10-yard line. They have about a 90-yard field, and you can easily take a big chunk of change, but you have to get that running attack going. I know you have a Davante Graves that's banged up. You have Corey Sullivan that's banged up. You have Bryce Shaw that's banged up. And 3 of your major factors in your offense are banged up, and you're going to try and do the best with what you got.
Bryce Shaw perhaps playing in his final playoff game as a high school athlete, giving a pep talk to his team. He's in the backfield with Graves and Jouffre. On first down, handoff to Davante Graves, stuffed at the 5.
Yeah, they brought that linebacker blitz right up the middle. Actually, it could have been a safety that they brought up the middle there. Got right through the line and stuffed Graves.
Fromer mowed down Graves for about a 3-yard loss.
Now this right here, this drive is a make it or break it drive for the Trojans.
Corey Sullivan injured his right ankle tonight. Bryce Shaw injured his left ankle. Davante Graves came in here tonight with an injured ankle as well. Injuries starting to rack up. But all 3 of them are seniors, so this game does mean a lot. Sullivan on second down. Cicio gets the grab at the 15, 16-yard line. Brings up 3rd and manageable with 7:48 left to go.
That's just grit and determination right there. Cicio just outmanned as the defender right there, just ripped it away from him. Brings up a 3rd and 1 here for the Trojans. I mean, this is a show-me drive here for the Trojans. It's this drive. I mean, if it's a sustaining drive, it's your season right here. So really, you're gonna pull out all the stops. I know it hurts. There's pain everywhere. You're cold. It's one of those things. You got to man up, and you just got to teach us. You have to tell yourself, if you're successful in this drive, this could send you to Gillette Stadium if you're successful.
3rd and 1. Timeout taken by
Bridgewater-Raynham. Yeah, Bridgewater-Raynham. Sorry. Ooh. One of those things
okay, temperature's dropping still.
Yeah, your brain's moving faster than your lips.
Right now it's 28 degrees and feels a lot colder than that.
Hey, we're almost getting above freezing, John. I wonder how my water in the truck is doing.
As Brian alluded to earlier, this may very well be the drive of the season for the BR Trojans. A team riding a 7-game winning streak. 3 in the backfield. Pitch to Davante Graves. First down for the Trojans up to the 21.
Like I said, this is going to be that show-me drive. Everyone's really going to show the coach really what you're made of here. Everyone's dinged up. Everyone's cold. You got just over 7 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. This drives your season. I don't know how many times I can say it.
At some point, you have to imagine Corey Sullivan's going to have to throw the ball, and you have to wonder how far he can drop back. Typically, he's a quarterback that does drop back 4 or 5 steps, but with an injured ankle, can you throw with that same attack?
Well, for him, that's the ankle that he lands on. It's not really the ankle that he uses to push. Oh, that's a big penalty there. Call a false start on Jeff Cicio. Brings the Trojans back 5 yards, 1st and 15. Big penalty there. First one of the night.
Really a clean game played on both sides.
But yeah, going back to his ankle there, that's like I said, it's the ankle that he lands on. That's where he's going to point to. So he's, that's the one. I'm not saying you can kind of get away with it, but it's not the one that you're pushing off of to throw. but it's, do you trust that ankle to not hurt or to hold up if you're going to go plant when you do throw the ball?
1st and 15 as we work under 6.5 left to go in the 4th. CCO lines up on the near side. D'Amelia Taylor on the far side. Sullivan out of the shotgun. Throws for CCO. Jeff CCO incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 15.
Well, some contact there, but I think it was clean. Take another look in the replay here. There's some hand fighting, some body contact here, but looks like it was clean. No interference there, even though the defender never really turned around to look for the ball. It's a big play right here, 2nd down at 15. Like I said, you want to bring it up into a 3rd and manageable situation.
Now CCO a little gimpy, lining up on the near side. 3 receiver formation. Sullivan has that pass complete to Bryce Shaw, who's laying out all on the line tonight. Up to the 27.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 4.
Looks like Bryce Shaw cleared the battle of the trenches, and I think he was surprised that he was that wide open.
Excuse me, about a 3rd and 5.
Now you can see Sullivan really hurting right now. But he has tomorrow to rest up.
No games for them Friday. Next game is Thanksgiving.
Both sides getting loud on a 3rd and 5. Handoff to Devontae Graves, and Graves will get just to the 1st down marker.
That was a big run right there. They're going to give him enough for the 1st down. Big run right there from Devontae Graves. You do that shotgun formation. You have 3 wide receivers, spreads out that defense, run right up to the line, and Devontae Graves able to get 5.1 yards to get to the 1st down marker and keep this drive going with just over 5 minutes left here in the 4th quarter.
Been a balanced attack tonight in the air, on the ground for Devontae Graves, Jeff CCO, and Joey D'Amelia as well.
Bryce Shaw coming out for this play here. He's got CCO in single coverage towards the bottom of your screen.
Sullivan played out of the gun a lot this drive. Gonna throw for CCO, and nobody there. Brings up 2nd down with 4:54 left.
Bryce Shaw coming back out for 2nd down and 10.
Looks like Bryce Shaw moving a little better. He was really hurting as we opened up the 2nd half.
Well, when it gets so cold, you really can't feel your body anyway, so you really can't feel your injuries. This is one of those things where you get back into your car, and then you start getting feeling, and then that's when the pain hits. So it's going to be one of those. As soon as you get to heat, that's when you start feeling the pain.
This is the formation that's gotten the job done on this drive. 2nd down. Sullivan almost bobbled the snap. Throwing for CCO. That is going to be incomplete, and a lot of the fans here looking for pass interference.
Yeah, a lot of contact there. We'll take a look on the replay here. You really didn't see much there.
Only 1 flag tonight. That was a false start a few plays ago.
Huge 3rd down right here for the Trojans. But so far on this drive, they've been up for the challenge.
As you see, both sides getting behind their respective teams. 3rd and 10. D'Amelia and Taylor on the near side. Sullivan looking downfield. That pass is complete to Dan Taylor. It might be just shy of the 1st down stick.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be about a 4th and 1 here. That's a tricky one. It's one of those things where it's really, where does the receiver completely gain possession? A lot of fans here on our side, on the Bridgewater-Raynham side, said that he gained it after the 1st down mark. The ref saying he finally got possession just before the 1st down marker, but nonetheless brings up a 4th and 1, and Coach Buren's going to take another timeout here. Going to talk this play over.
Oh, this has been a fun game here tonight. We started out with both sides scoring touchdowns at will. The first 3 possessions ended up in the end zone, but since then, defense for both sides has really stepped up.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, King Philip, they became a much, a one-dimensional offense, going to Froman pretty much the whole time, and Bridgewater-Raynham was starting to figure that out. King Philip was starting to throw some passes in there, keep that Trojans defense more and more honest, and they were using that a little bit more. And King Philip was able to drive the ball down some more, and you see in Bridgewater-Raynham, they're kind of limited in their offense here. They have everyone on the field, but they're not at 100%. But it's going to be interesting to call what the call is going to be here on 4th down. Wouldn't be surprised if they go to Bryce Shaw.
Bryce Shaw, historically for this team, has been the short-to-go fullback. As we mentioned, this has been pretty much the walking wounded here tonight for the BR Trojans.
And if they win, they get some much, much needed rest. Their next game, as we mentioned, is in a couple weeks against Brockton at home for Thanksgiving.
This is high school playoff football as best here in Massachusetts. A 4th and short. The season on the line for the BR Trojans. Sullivan for CCO and the first down. And the offensive drive continues for the Trojans.
He was being held that entire time as well. No flag here from the refs. We'll take another look. You can see that he is being held. Well, actually, that looked pretty clean there. I thought, first reaction, he was being held the whole time, but good timing from the defensive back. But nonetheless, huge first down here for the Trojans as there's now just over 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
I'll say, give credit to the officials. They've really kept the flag in their pocket. Only one flag. That was a procedure call, a false start.
Yeah, there's a couple other plays that they could have, but, they've done a good job, I think.
Here we go again. Sullivan out of the shotgun, throwing deep, and that is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, he threw off his back foot there. He's afraid to plant on that right foot right now. So those deep throws they're going to end up like that if you're going to keep throwing off your back foot.
Intended for D'Amelia. You have to imagine, this is the moment that Corey Sullivan has been waiting for the past 365 days. We showed it to you at the beginning of the night. We were here 1 year ago, and Sullivan threw an interception to end the game and punched the Warriors' ticket to the Super Bowl. That image has been burned into his mind, I would imagine, to get back to this very point. 2nd down, 3:49 left to go in the 4th. Sullivan throws it, almost intercepted again. Someone feel a sigh of relief.
He's gotten away with a few questionable throws here tonight. And this is, like I said, this drive is your season. This is the one that you really have to be really smart about here. Got away with one. He had another 3rd and long for the Trojans. I know they've been up to it all drive, but eventually these are going to catch up to you.
This team very senior laden. A lot of the offense consists of senior players. Sullivan, Shaw, and Graves playing in their final postseason. Looking to extend it one more game.
Watch out for D'Amelia in the slot here.
On 3rd down, Sullivan throwing deep for Taylor, and that is going to be incomplete.
Looks like he might have had D'Amelia there kind of wide open towards the middle of the field, but it's a huge 4th down here. Every play you're in 4-down territory here, and you don't have to go for the big play there on 3rd down. You're in 4-down territory going forward. All you had to do is try to get 4 or 5 yards, bring up a 4th and manageable. But now this is one of those instances you're going to throw a few guys right at the 1st down marker for the Warriors.
Rentham is rocking here tonight on both sides.
Pretty much your season comes down to this play here, barring anything crazy that happens going forward.
4th and 10 from the BR 46. D'Amelia, the man in motion. Sullivan, all the time in the world to throw it. Complete to CCO. No, he dropped it. Jeff CCO dropped it as he fell. And King Philip is celebrating with 3:31 left to go.
That was a very dangerous throw. Take another look here. There's about 5 defenders around him. You can't be forcing this ball here. I know you love the chemistry that he has, and he almost pulled it in there, but that's a very dangerous throw there for Sullivan. Now 3:31, and King Philip has the ball here. And Bridgewater-Raynham, you have to force a 3-and-out here.
BR does have a lot of timeouts left, so if your defense can stand tall, still 3 timeouts left. With 3:31 left to go, you may get another crack at it offensively, but you can't give anything up right now. As CCO gets looked at. And Corey Sullivan right now on the bench, trying to figure out what just happened, and he had some good looks on that drive, and the Trojans were really moving up until they hit midfield.
Yeah, I think with him too, he made some questionable throws there, and he's afraid to plant on that right foot right now. I mean, that right ankle is really bothering him. He's afraid to plant on it. A lot of his throws kind of came off his back foot.
On first down, handoff to Shane Fromer. Fromer goes off tackle. Fromer gets the first down, tripped up and taken down at the 27.
There you go. He's been trying to do it all night. He's done a very good job of it. Going up to the middle, nothing there. Cuts to the outside. Got a huge chunk of yards there inside the 30-yard line.
Clock winds down now. 3:20.
At this point of the field, you know it's going to go to Fromer. You know that it's going to him the whole time. And at this point, you're just going to try and punch the ball out here. If you're him, you're always going to wrap up with 2 hands.
Line letting this clock tick down, under 3 minutes. Handoff Fromer. At the line of scrimmage, but this kid is a beast, taking it up to the 23-yard line.
Timeout called by the Trojans here.
So 2:55 left to go. It's a 2nd and 5 for the Warriors, who are trying to bleed this clock down.
Just under 3 minutes left here in the 4th.
Warriors have not lost since 2015. Looking to continue here. Fromer on 2nd down, and he'll get the first down up to the 16.
If you're King Philip, this is what you wanted to do. Keep moving that ball, keep getting the first downs, and keep melting that clock.
Clock down to 2:45. Warriors letting every second tick off here. Fromer on the carry, pulled down by Kyle Duggan. And Fromer will be stopped at the 14. He'll bring up a 2nd and about 8.
There's another timeout called by the Trojans.
Regardless of what happens here tonight, BR still has Thanksgiving to look forward to, and also Senior Day, basically.
Cape Cod Cafe Cup there. Bridgewater-Raynham only losing once to Brockton a few years ago.
And given what we've been hearing about from the City of Champions, I think that cup might be safe.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of Brockton games, and it really hasn't looked too good for the Boxers this year. Of course, last night losing to Taunton 9-7.
That must have been a fun game to watch.
Yeah, lost to Marshfield a couple weeks ago as well. I think that was a 37-35 loss.
2nd and 8. 2:23 left. Handoff, Fromer. Fromer going to the near side. He's met up by the Bridgewater defense. Down he goes. Timeout call, 2:15.
That's Coach Buron's last time out of the second half. Bring up a huge third down here. It's about a 3rd and 7 coming up for the Warriors.
So barring a mystery timeout that we don't know about, which is likely to happen here. Let's say you get a stop here if you are the BR defense. King Philip, if you don't have timeout, can bleed this clock down, you would imagine, to about a minute 40, minute 35 left to go. There's still maybe a glimmer of hope.
That's going to be an interesting thing is what they're going to do on 4th down. I mean, do you go for it, and if you don't get it, Bridgewater-Raynham is a long field. Do you kick the field goal and risk maybe in a quick-off return for a touchdown? I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see what they do on 4th down. If they get to 4th down, and of course they could always get the 1st down here and really ice the game, but it's going to be interesting.
Biggest play of the night for the Warriors on 3rd and about 7. Handoff to Shane Fromer. Fromer diving for the 1st down. He'll be stopped shy. Bring up a 4th and about 1.
I think you go for it here. I mean, even if you don't get it, Bridgewater-Raynham has an extremely long field. If you don't get it here and they have no timeouts, they'd have to run pretty much a 1-minute offense almost with a gimpy quarterback, a gimpy fullback, wide receiver, running back, and if you do get this 1st down right here, I mean, you can just kneel on the ball, essentially, because Bridgewater-Raynham has no timeouts left.
Shane Fromer playing his final game here at King Philip, a senior running back.
King Philip takes a timeout now.
This has been an offense for the past couple of years that's been predicated on the success of number 25. So another close game between these two teams. Still one possession. We have seen Leiden take it on the QB keep from 4th and short. Here we go, 4th and 1. Fromer. 1st down, touchdown. Shane Fromer may have just broken the hearts of Trojan Nation with a 6-yard carry.
That should just about wrap it up here.
With a minute 22 left to go, Mr. Fromer continues to mow down the yards and rack up the touchdowns. And the kick is gonna be good to make it a 10-point lead for the Warriors.
For the Trojans coming up here, you're going to need an excellent kickoff return. You're going to want to get this as close as you possibly can to the 50-yard line, and you're going to want to score, in a couple of plays, 2, 3, 4 maybe at the most. And you get that, you get your points, you go for the onside kick, and see if you can go from there. But it's really, you have to get a good kickoff return right here if you're the Trojans. There's a lot of Bridgewater-Raynham fans that are leaving for the exit now.
This resembles like a Celtics blowout loss or something. You see the stands empty.
Well, they are getting destroyed by Charlotte right now.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, you're the one that said it.
Dan Taylor has averaged about 20 yards tonight on the kickoff return with 1:22 left. Here's a strong kick once again to Dan Taylor from his own 3-yard line. Wrapped up, stopped at the 10. And with 90 yards to go, down by 10, a minute 16 left to go. BR offense back out to the field, and Brian, if the result stands true, I mean, you look at the Bridgewater-Raynham Trojans, they've done something recently that a lot of teams would kill to do. I mean, you get to the sectional final 2 straight years, you average at least a semifinal berth. This offense and defense, this team as a whole has certainly done a great job over the past few years.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing really, like you said, if the result stays true, there's nothing really to hang your head on.
Sullivan on first down, looking downfield. That pass is going to be caught by Dan Taylor at the 47, out of bounds. Helps out his own cause. Extra second tipped off. Not sure why, but nevertheless, 1:06 left.
For BR here, I mean, you get another big game like that, you want to score in 2 or 3 plays and get another, you're going to have to do the onside kick, and they had a successful one last week against Natick.
Clock frozen, much like the stands here. 1:06 left in the 4th. A 4-receiver set again. Sullivan out of the shotgun. Sullivan hit on the throw, almost caught by Joey D'Amelia, and he's had a couple of spectacular catches this season.
Yeah, a nice one-handed grab against Dartmouth several weeks ago.
At the very least, clock does stay put at 1:01. After Sullivan takes another hit on the throw. Timeout taken by the Warriors. And maybe the big surprise over the past couple days is the fact that the winner of this game will go on to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of question coming into tonight where the Super Bowl will be. We found out the answer. It is going to be at Gillette Stadium. Patriots president and owner Robert Kraft said, "We love hosting the high school championship games here at Gillette Stadium and are excited to be able to accommodate all 8 games this year. While the all-day event on Saturday has become an annual tradition, we are proud to host a Friday night's late edition for the remaining 2 championship games at Gillette Stadium." And this is something that really gives the high school athletes an opportunity to see what the Patriots see, because for most of them, it's the last time they're going to see a field.
Yeah, it's an awesome moment. I mean, not many of them are going to play on an NFL field, and you get the chance to play for your state championship on a field of 5-time Super Bowl champion. It's awesome that the Kraft family has allowed all 8 to be there.
Sullivan on 3rd down, almost caught by D'Amelia. Nothing going
high
there.
Throw.
Excuse me, that was 2nd down. This brings up 3rd down. And we're not the only ones out here braving the elements, as we do have our camera crew out here. Dick Fowler, Christian Bracero, Scott Olson, Tyler Crispin. Also had Jeff Fowler step in for a little bit. So,
what a
I mean, when you have Jeff Fowler come out here in the freezing cold and he's on the nice warm truck, that says something.
Dedication.
On 3rd down, Sullivan hit on the throw, caught by Taylor.
You have to spike this one.
This is usually fun to watch. Sullivan spiking the ball to stop the clock.
Such anger.
That wasn't
less angry.
That wasn't as good of a spike. As you look at the catch by Dan Taylor. .44 seconds left. Once again, the Trojans, win or lose, will return back home for Thanksgiving morning against Brockton at 10 o'clock. We'll have the game for you on BTV and btvaccess.com. Sullivan on 1st down has that pass picked off, and that might as well be considered a Warriors walk-off.
Yes, looks like once again he was just trying to force it to a receiver. Take a look in the replay here. Trying to force that one to Dan Taylor. Got intercepted, and that'll be the rest of the BR crowd that will now head out. But for the Trojans here, you really can't hang your head. I mean, you had another successful season. You had 2 losses on the year. I mean, you've been back-to-back South Sectional Championship games. Last year in Division 1A, this year Division 2. They're the same exact division, though. Obviously it doesn't go the way that you want it to, and they're going to have to wait another year for a possible trip to Gillette Stadium.
As the reality starts to set in on the home team right now, they'll have a chance to take their fury out on the Brockton Boxers. There's a knee. May have to take one more.
One more knee, and that'll do it. But in this game right here, I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with the injuries. You didn't have 100% Devontae Graves. You didn't have 100% Bryce Shaw towards the end. You didn't have 100% CCO or Corey Sullivan. And I'm not trying to blame the injuries here. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from King Philip. They played one heck of a game. And Fromer here had, he did whatever he had to do. I mean, he did a great job going up the middle with a huge 65-yard touchdown run, and cutting it to the outside. But Bridgewater-Raynham, it is a 10-point game, but it was a much closer game than that. I mean, there was kind of not a garbage time touchdown, but it just made it seem like it was much more of a wider game than what it really was. It was a very close game, and two hard-fought teams went at it tonight. King Philip once again returns to Gillette Stadium to defend their Super Bowl crown.
King Philip is Super Bowl bound again for the second consecutive year. The Warriors are undefeated, and this might as well be a high school dynasty. The King Philip Warriors, they haven't lost a game since 2015. They haven't lost at home since October of 2015. And they punched their tickets to another Super Bowl and an opportunity to play for another championship at Gillette. Of course, the charge led by Shane Fromer. And as we mentioned, there's not a lot for this team to be disappointed for. Yes, you did lose the game, but still, the season that they had, some of the players that exploded on the scene, you think about players like Bryce Shaw, D'Amelia, Dan Taylor. Really some names having some fun this season, and they're going to have one more game either way, so they still do have Thanksgiving morning against the Brockton Boxers.
Yeah, and like we said, it's the Brockton Boxers, a team that they've pretty much dominated this whole rivalry with, and you get to take your frustrations out on them. And Brockton really is a team, and they've struggled all year, and it hasn't really been a pretty sight for them. And unfortunately, it comes down to a game. It really doesn't mean much, but we've always seen it in years past, and I think we've seen it this year. Brockton really has kind of given up a little bit on the year, and Bridgewater-Raynham, I think you're going to really see the difference in mentality in both of these teams when we see them again at the regional on Thanksgiving morning.
As you see the final congratulations being given to the King Philip Warriors. They are Super Bowl bound. They will go back to Gillette Stadium. They will play on either Friday night or Saturday night. But for the BR Trojans, next up is Thanksgiving against the Brockton Boxers, and that's the next time we'll see you. So for Brian Berard and everybody behind the scenes here at BTV, I'm John Luck. Thank you very much for watching. King Philip moves on.